qualify for was Masters, and I believe we were the first team
the
to
one
qualify
that
for it.
wasn't
Masters
international.
won, you know, the
What
original,
about all the other ones?
Back in the good old days. I don't think you were commentating back then, Tom. You probably wouldn't know.
all right. I'm pretty sure we did cast our first game during that Masters, but hey,
that's not the point. Shut your damn mouth, Tom. Enough cheek. Let's get on into the game. We've already kicked off a few little battles here. Some damage done. CNED already looking to bring out that Reyna with some style, but he's not found a victim. They're going to rotate to B, and Oglu are giving up the control.
Yeah, no, completely giving it up. Almost looking like they're just going to try and set up to try and do some damage before the spike can actually go down, but ultimately not going to be able to do too much about that. It will actually go down.
I think he just got caught by a bug there. That was perfect lineup, but a little bit of a bug making the snake bite bounce wrong. It's definitely a bug. Don't challenge me on that.
Definitely.
Oh, he's taking the kill there onto Zeke as they start to close in the distance. Wall down. That's got to be destroyed. The wraparound by Starzo, though, goes unchecked, and the kills are not rolling their way. Oglu fighting right back into that one. The wall was broken. The flank was completed by Starzo around the back of Yellow. Things were looking good, but ACEND won't get the first.
Yeah, the one thing that has always worried me, and it's teams having a plan when they don't have a Sage, because it's become such a huge part of the attack, especially on this map, is just having that ability to just wall things off and then set up for your afterplants. And the thing is, firstly, it kind of disrupts where your opponent can put their wall. So in this case, it made it very, very awkward for them to try and fight back in because they didn't have anything blocking off certain angles. But also, I just feel like there's aspects where you are going to end up getting caught. Like this time, okay, Oglu was just playing a retake, so it's not going to be too much of an issue. But they still didn't manage to hold on in that afterplan. And you can see already, early in the rounds, I'm always curious to see who's like farming up those ultimate orbs. They're going for that Nightfall. And as one of the ults that we currently have, like a brand new on Fade, it does sound like a terrifying prospect when it comes to pro play.
Now, you're going to have to give us a little bit of breathing room with the first time casting Fade, simply because I don't always trust the HUD, Tom. We'll see as time goes on how reliable it is. For now, everything's been spot on. That's a nice little reveal going up top, catching a few of them, but ultimately the Haunt not yielding too much value. Zeke, though, does go down, making this a costly attempted plant. They're still going to try to find the space to get that spike down.
And it's not going well. Hoping to try and get an elevated angle just to give them an opportunity. Now, there is potential for a dismiss here from Cena, but he's already dead. Insta-killed by the shot. Beku as well. And they're just slowly being picked apart. The afterplan at least giving them a little bit of extra credits into the next round, but Vac's gonna hope at least to try and catch somebody, but ultimately it's just gonna be an easy defuse in the end. So yeah, ACEND not really doing any damage in this sort of scenario. It means that this bonus is gonna be pretty good for the defensive side.
So, listen, every ranked game I play that there's a Fade on either team, there's always one person who says, what the hell is this agent? I don't know how this still happens, but people play ranked and they don't know what the new agent does. It's a thing. I'm going to assume some of our Twitch viewers maybe don't know exactly how Fade works and might be asking questions. But briefly, just to run through her abilities.
Lothar's going to listen to this because I'm sure he doesn't have a clue.
He hasn't got a damn clue. But for those that didn't watch, I think he did an explanation to start out the day. We've got the Haunt, which is her default ability. You see that on the very right side of her little UI bar there for Destrian. That's just, you throw it in. It's like a Phoenix Molly, essentially. You want to... you can make it drop early. Once it pops, it reveals. It
combines with the Prowlers, which is the next ability.
It does. So it leaves a trail. Now that if you reveal the person. Now when they're revealed, they'll be leaving a trail for, I think it's 12 or 12.5 seconds. Might be 12.5. That then allows the Prowlers, which are her abilities on the very left. There's two of them there on the UI, and they're 250 credits each. They track really quickly along, like Seekers that have seen you along the trail, and they near sight you for 3.5 seconds. And we'll get onto the rest in a little bit, because we've already got a push coming through. Beku has already been taken down. That was a long-range shot straight down B-Alley, but look at that. Combo. Right away, they've got a combo to push them back.
And again, this is the problem. They need to fight more aggressively just to try and deny these players from being able to peek out because they don't have the wall. They don't have anything to really deny this.
30 seconds
so
left.
it has to be more aggressive here. Bear in mind, this is also a bonus round. So they're almost playing into these closer range angles. Look at the tags that have already come through, and they know this they know it's good. But actually, he manages to escape and see that. He's found 2 through the screen.
This is strong. That wall not going to do anything for them in getting that diffused through. They've got to get the kills. All down, hype around, and well, that is clean as can be from ACEND. Very nicely tidied up, despite the huge amount of damage that was done to them. They managed to only lose 1 player in the end. Pretty nice. There is it. Oh, well, look, that feeds nicely, and that's the C's right there. If you get caught by the C's, you're going to be pulled in, stuck inside the C's. I think you're tracked as well, but you're decayed 75 HP, deafened as well, which is always fantastic. It only costs 200 credits. There's only going to be 1 charge of it per round. It's the little symbol in the middle of her utility on the UI.
And it's the one I'm most excited for because it means we can get more combos. And I like those sort of combo abilities that are available. But either way...
so it's you can't escape from it right by running. Essentially, you could like updraft dash, that sort of stuff, but you're tethered to it. Hold on here. Back you. He's gonna be in a pretty nice spot if he can still TP out of here. Wants to get that peak soon, and there it is. In and out, nice and clean.
It still ends up in a 3v3 though. Like ACEND have done quite well in these sort of early positions. Becca as well starts that rotation back through, but ultimately you can see ACEND starting to move back in the other direction. But with such an aggressive position currently there for Malsey, I was gonna say they'll have to read very quickly, but he's actually started to move his way back into the A side, maybe just expecting this rotation to come through because nothing has been spotted on the other side. He also has a full belt of utility, so it puts them in an incredibly good spot that he can basically just drone, dart, and just sit there and wait for these players to actually push through and have the information for his side. It's all going to depend, though, on timing.
That reveal actually still concealing him. He's got a little roof above his head. Oh, but they've spotted him now as they drop down. No punish. Malsey in a lot of trouble as they double, triple peek even into him. Defuse. Gonna be sought, and I believe found here. Nobody for Oglu able to deny that. And Starzo primed up on the angle. He won't hit the shot. Well, he will.
I think he did.
But the wall serves as an extra layer of shields, keeping Feku alive just a moment longer. Well, Tom, you know what? While they're saving, let's go into the ultimate Adestrian because it's online for next round. So for people that are going to be confused, it looks like a Rolling Thunder in terms of how it deploys. Is that the thing? A lot of these, like the Seas and the Haunt, both have like the Phoenix Molly trajectory. The Prowler is like a Sky Flash in that you can control it, right? But then so Nightfall is hurled, and how it works is it's a Rolling Thunder from a breach. Think of it that way in effect and how it looks.
Yeah.
But what it does to you is it deafens you, it decays you, and it puts a trail down. So again, everywhere you walk, there'll be this trail of little black goo on the floor following you. And if there's a Prowler set out, it will lock onto that trail and speed after you like an activated Seeker. But yeah, as you said, so that's the Haunt there she's about to throw out. But the important thing is definitely as we move on, seeing the use of Seize, the one that tethers you and sticks you in and does 75 damage to you, right? Decays you 75. So like you can be in a lot of danger from like a raised nade being anywhere near you in that scenario.
I think it's worth noting as well, something Lothar said earlier, it works in reverse to the way decay kind of normally works because it's an instant take.
Yes.
And then you heal back up rather than you slowly decaying over time. So that instant means that in combos, it's filth. Yes. Speaking of filth, CNED, using his Rainer to lurk, has already managed to find an opening pick. Now, this purchase is a much weaker one. Beku is the only real weapon. There is no weapon anymore, because he is dead. So this round is looking like a fairly easy blitz round for ACEND. They're not going to want to lose too many players. You can see some re-aggression coming out from Malsey as well in an attempt just to retrieve that operator and have something to play with it.
Well, they've managed to make their way over to the site. That operator for Mulsey needs to find something here. They're going to be aware that it can be moving around, but the 1 kill found. Something to start. A foothold on the round. Still plenty more to do. The Haunt not finding anything. Mulsey void of any other opportunities. He's got his pistol out as he clears up close. That was a risky maneuver. And, well, Destrian has managed to spot them here. That's a Prowler sent out, but it got caught on the fence. And Zeke, well, there he goes. He's gone. This man has got an operator, and he just took that peek with a sheriff. What a lunatic. Here we go. Operator time. Player up close. Gotta take the peek, and Mulsey just keeps on hitting. He's being chased down by CNED, but he's going back looking for him. That could have been a mistake. Oh, but he slipped away.
That confident in his ability. Not really surprised as to why. A 3-2. ACEND actually looking pretty good in this attack. And as said, like, I feel with this composition, the way that it's almost set up, it makes it quite difficult on the attacker side to just go for the normal executes, the standard executes. You have to be a little bit more aggressive, and I feel like especially on the B side, there's a lot more opportunity for that to go wrong. On the defensive side, though, I feel like this composition gives you quite a bit extra, because you're not just like, oh, I'm going to wall this off and slow them down for a little bit. Instead, you have these more aggressive options for someone like CNED, and still having that Sentinel and play on the other side. Aggressive peek from Feku again. Not going to get anything this time.
Yeah, timing's cut him off, and then look at that, the ulti, making sure there's no triple burst out of that Hunter's Fury. Feku still trying to catch some players off. Nothing to be found as Mulsey goes down. CNED previously lurking, now the man. The point of aggression. I don't even know. Is that why? What was that bounce? Oh my God! Don't take this guy to the beach. He'll be skimming rocks like bullets. That was unreal.
See, they're just running at them at this point, and that's the thing. That's the deadly thing about this ACEND roster. Is I sort of made this comparison before, but I feel like they are the phase right now of Valorant. Like, they are building a roster that just has so many superstars within it. Like, you already have like Zeke, who's been MVP of a major tournament, CNED, who was considered, I guess, the best, one of the best, if not the best jet in the world. Is not playing it. That's the only reason I say was. You've also had the depths of Starzo, who again at a point I think was probably the best Sky in the world. And now you've brought in Vac, who's been someone who, and Monster, in fact, both people who I think, Vac incredibly flexible, and then Monster, who's one of the best in his roles. They are just building a team that realistically should be at Masters events. If it's not, I think that's a failure.
I did not teach this man this. I want that to be clear. I do not condone this behavior. This is disgusting. Yep, that about sums up how I felt about that one. ACEND have got B.
Honestly, I think we are learning a lot about yeah, Hype being that incredible player that you said.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
Just from this round alone, you know?
You watch your mouth, Tom. All right.
Oh, okay.
Look at this. Oh, stop beating over.
What? This is getting really dangerous. Managing to do so much with the pistols. You've also got Feku with the tour de force, who has managed to hit a nice couple of shots. Also has a res online, but Monster is going to be able to find the trade. It comes down to a 1v1. A round that never should have been particularly close. He's going to try and bait him in. Still 2 shots left in the tour de force, but Monster hasn't moved. Playing it calm, not expecting him to just stick it all the way, and even gets the timing spot on. ACEND get a little close to letting that one slip, but their streak of rounds carries on a little longer.
Monster's a really solid prospect. Someone to keep your eye on for the future, for sure. Already showing his might here in these clutch scenarios. Oh, well, this is... I'm gonna need to have a word with whoever's doing the replays.
Can we show that replay again? I honestly just want to learn how to use the Bucky from a master.
You show that replay again, we're gonna have some issues. Okay?
Hey, Lothar, I think I've got a round for you to break down. I think Lothar, you should do a round breakdown on how to use the Bucky.
Wow.
I feel bad for Hype.
I see how it is.
He's taken secondhand smoke just from knowing you.
He knows how this works.
If
all right? He knew what he was
ever
getting himself
whiffs,
into.
like, we're gonna have that replay just just going till the end of time. I'm gonna make sure it's like the time when you said beast back to back twice. It's gonna be in every highlight reel until the end of time.
Don't worry, Tommy. It was 3 times. It was 3 times. It was in 3 out of 5 of the plays of the week, and then 3 out of 5 of the plays of the month as well. So it was the same 3 plays. They were beastly, apparently. Yeah. Gotta pull out a thesaurus every now and then.
Thankfully, they weren't quick and brief.
Thankfully, they weren't, Tom. Thankfully, they weren't. Well, 5-2. Ascend. Looking pretty damn good on the attack side here, building up the rounds. Gonna go for some mid control, orb down to try and buy up some space, apply some pressure. Oglu's response right up on A. Starting to take a little bit of space of their own. And looks like Destrian has no intention of stopping. The Haunt has already cleared all of heaven. I think even down below it, thanks to its elevation. They're ready for this push now, especially seeing that Haunt. You know exactly what that means. And Zeke, he's going to catch Destrian right away. Some style points on the way down. They're stacked up. And okay, damage done. Boo left on practically no HP. The Hunter's Fury trying to chase him down. It's coming close. But she just slips away. Sage making it out. And Boo might be able to get a res if they leave those bodies untouched.
Do they expect Molsey to be here, though? Because they've already spotted the fallback. The whole point here is that he's meant for the bait. Cena checks it, though. So aware of the potential of that aggressive spot. And while now Boo is left in no man's land, doesn't have himself the wall either because that's been taken away. Just has to try and land some shots as they head through, and the flash is perfect. These executions from Ascend have been so clean. And while Hype, okay, he'll get one on the exit, but it really is an exit at this point. 5 HP, nothing he can do from this scenario, and just has to save the gun. CNET is chasing him.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. CNET is, he thinks that he's a prowler, and he's caught the trail. He is just out there looking to take this weapon away. With 5 HP left, I mean, Hype has to just tuck and turtle. And looks like he will get away with it. Altogether, you know, I would say Fade's current strength, we don't really know how she fits in the meta yet. We haven't seen enough teams experiment with it, and time again, we've had ideas. We've looked at agents and said, oh, yeah, this is how it should be used. And then some team puts in just a, frankly, absurd amount of hours.
Well, there was
comes out with the best way ever.
Which was perfect, because he went, yeah, I think that right now, Fade is in a good spot. But it's also possible that I'm completely wrong and it could be overpowered as hell. And I'm just like, no, that's exactly it. Like, it looks decent. I don't think it's like game breaking, but I think it's like incredible. It looks strong, but I also think that it has a lot of utility that can be insta destroyed. So it's sort of like, there's definitely a balance to how players are going to use this. You have to be adaptive. I don't think like you couldn't exactly throw the Haunt in the same place every time because pre-fire 1 bullet is gone. So there's going to be aspects of, I think, good players on Fade, and then there's going to be ones where you could just clearly see that they don't have a lot of depth with it.
Yep. And I think, you know, in a month we might see her played well, but it's going to take so long to just form that and really cultivate the top level of Fade play. Anyways, what I was going to say is the strength of her currently isn't surprising people. She ain't surprising Ascend right now. No. I mean, Ascend are playing their own game. They don't seem to be disrupted, disturbed by anything going on the other side.
It seems like they're so reliant on these aggressive plays, but Crossfire on the site has actually done its job incredibly well. They've spotted CNET attempting to wrap around. And after what was an initial 2-man advantage, quickly comes back into an even scenario once again. CNET also tagged incredibly low. And there is actually a res available for Boo, so actually going for a rotation here, I was going to say on the attacker side, would have its risks about it, but instead, I like this from Oglu. They're going to go all the way back, knowing that Destrian's position is safe, knowing that his ult is online, bring him back in. And straight away, Vac has just hit 2 crazy headshots. Here comes the ult through, which will give the information over, and also going to try and stun him up at the same time. He's down to just 1 HP, but Vac looking to try and take that fight. It needs to be an almost instant kill if he's going to get it, but even still, it's gone back and forth either way. Vac still caught within this field, and eventually Destrian will put him down, having to use everything on his belt.
There you see it in the 1v1, putting the players on the back foot. There's a moment there where you can see you're not quite sure what's going to come your way next. The reveal coming through as well. Seem to, you don't know. Do you want a 180 and try to shoot it? Do you want to continue taking scenario? And I think it can definitely make you a little bit uncomfortable. I thought he had dodged it, but it looked like he actually didn't and got caught. And interesting that when the tether is thrown through, you can see where it lands is obviously on the site, but there's a reality where if you can imagine further down the line, somebody's so comfortable with that tether, they know where to land, all that sort of stuff. You could keep him from getting on the site.
This Viper's pick. And they've just used it to section off mid, basically cut off every single rotation, and also make it a little bit awkward to actually have information. It's an interesting ult from Monster. Now, it's something that I feel like Oglu almost have to try and clear, because otherwise, well, the playing for information here is going to be very difficult.
Oh, Starzo. I mean, he's kind of lucky there. That shock dart being lined up at just the right time. Sort of gets Feku to reconsider peeking out wide. Maybe taking the shot that could have put a real spanner in the works. Really interesting Viper's pit too. I think 99% of the time attack side is post plant. Very rare to see it used for or getting to a site.
Oh. This also looks like it just has some risky positions. Like you can see where he's had to put the poison orb to almost cut off some of that space. Straight away though, it is going to be that plant going through. Back into a 5 versus 4 scenario. So even with that Viper's pit now gone, they're just unable to really do anything. CNED is just running at them again and again. He just has these rounds where he seems unstoppable. He's fighting into the spawn, and actually, now they've lost a couple of players, this becomes possible. The thing is, they had another player lurking behind, a second snake in the grass, and, well, Malzy now has to do what seems to be impossible.
It certainly proves to be as well. A very strong attack from ACEND with a 7th now locked in. And these pushes, it doesn't look like they have to dig too deep, right? That's the concern. The fact that the A plan has been functional for ACEND, you know, the vast majority of the times on the way through. We need to see something on the side of Oglu to inspire us. And Tom, I mean, you can see up the top, this is the scarier aspect. This map was picked by Oglu. This is their map. This is the one that they want to do all the damage on, and
standing ahead.
Well, let's hope their attack's a little bit better. They still got to get a round or two more here.
Yeah, curious choice. Maybe trying to use it as almost a bit of a pocket pick, because ACEND didn't really play it last season, but playing this sort of map versus ACEND had massive risks about it. Like even CNED alone used to just be phenomenal at this map, and while it seems like they are definitely well prepped for this sort of pick, some audacious kills being attempted here by ACEND, but I guess with such favorable weaponry. Oh god. Yeah, good luck.
Making a lot of these fights very easy, whether it's the weaponry or the utility.
This is a shotgun main. That's just, we're seeing a lot with shotguns.
I swear to you, Tom. I swear to you, he's doing this to spite me. This is this is an attack. Look, this not a bad spot to try and save in if the whole team didn't know he was here and had 5 players grouping up on him. Ignore that. It's actually a really good position. Oh no, he has been one-tapped. My god.
Out of charges.
8-3.
Last round in the half.
This is looking incredibly strong from ACEND. As said, like it looked like a composition that had its weaknesses about it. I really don't feel like Oglu have really been able to pin down a lot of those, and any aggression that they've attempted has just been a real struggle. Like they've been caught out by what has been, in a lot of cases, a relatively slow pace. But then these A-site hits, I just don't think they've been able to deal with them whatsoever. Like these executions, I think Zeke also just farming up kills has definitely helped to just deny any utility that they would have. And I think the one danger is people have... Oh! I was going to say you have to be careful of just expecting Fade to be an instant game changer in a match. That was a nice shot from Destrian, but he is now also dead.
Not sure they'll be too delighted with that trade, but Malzy finding another is a huge positive. Utility cut off by that ultimate as the null command comes through. They'll get the site control, the plant soon to follow. Murder's Fury far enough away. Oh, wow, an anime battle here, mid-air firing off. It's caught Vac. Done some damage. Softened him up for the way back through. Flank underway, about to be, no, not about to be spotted. Sorry, Starzo's, of course, dead, so his utility's offline, but CNET is just popping off, going for the fights, getting his heal, his dismiss on with his ultimate. And now he's going to look to fight with his teammate towards the backside as well. This flank needs to be huge, it needs to be fast, but maybe it doesn't. The rest of the team clean up house and leave Zeke alone. Time going to be a big issue here. Zoglu can still get back in. Oh, at least he gets one.
Oh, I thought for a second, like, I think Mosey jumping down definitely left him a little bit confused, but yeah, just leaving that lurk behind. That's the thing with this composition, like, with CNET on the Reyna, it almost has to be aggressive. So they had to try and fight out, had to try and find picks, and this time, Oglu is able to hold on. Definitely, I don't think it's going to get much easier, though, honestly. Like, I assume, especially when you come in with a new agent that is an initiator, you're definitely going to have some plans for how it's going to work on the attack side. I feel like in a lot of cases, that's the easier of the two to sort of work out the ideas, at least. I think defensively, it can be a little bit difficult, unless, of course, the new agent is a Sentinel. Nonetheless, I'm intrigued what they're going to do here. And again, I have to reiterate the point I made moments ago. I feel like a lot of people are going to watch this and go, okay, well, if they're not like dominating, then clearly it's not enough. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of almost teething issues initially on both sides, playing against it, but also playing with it.
I'll find you.
Yeah, and the thing is, playing against it relies on you getting surprised by it. Relies on you not looking comfortable. ACEND haven't hit that roadblock just yet. We'll see on the attack the difference that it can make. Thought there was a gap in that wall as well, and you can see Monster even double checking it, but no, it's free. They've got the plan through. Good containment as well, but the kill step up on ACEND's side. Numbers equalized. Feku answers up. Mid-control now. There's ACEND trying to get their way back in towards the site. Look at this position for Mulsey, though. He has snuck his way in just at the right time. He'll grab himself a kill to, oh, I would think secure this one. Just Monster left.
Oh, one bullet left. Boo's just going to jump over the top. Oglu with a couple of the last rounds, and also now winning the pistol, have definitely given themselves an opportunity here. We've already seen the comebacks that can happen just, well, I want to say moments ago, but because of how long the map was, it actually wasn't moments ago with the previous series, but it's definitely not a done deal. ACEND will invest a little bit into this round. You're also going to see another shotgun coming through. Mitch is over the moon.
You know me, Tom? Huge fan. Love the weapons. Get some Bucky FC. Bring it back.
Hey, you actually have an account called like Shotgun to Plat, don't you?
I don't think that's true, Tom. I think you are fabricating at the moment. Starzo's being caught in the mid aggression. Oglu looking to move towards this side. They've got one player close. No flashes on Zeke here, so not too dangerous to worry about him. Flashing on around. Honda's huge. Everybody's being seen. Okay, Zeke. Nice first shot, but plenty more to do afterwards, and all just too big of a task. Like I said, this Prowler controlled just like a Sky Flash. Once you let it go, it's going to go straight, and it goes until it sees a player or until it sees a trail, and it lock onto that, and then blitz. And also, while you're holding it, if it sees someone, it insta-locks on and goes. It's not like a Sky Flash in that you can just keep it, like fly it past someone. As soon as it sees a person, bang, locked on.
Trying to hold them back. Stop them getting anything more. Caught with utility in hand, though. Dashian will go down. Now, 2 kills is normally what we say about the minimum you're hoping for when you're on that other side. It's a pretty good position, and Starzo might be able to try and find someone on the way out. It should be an easier kill, but Mulsey just that little bit further behind is going to be able to stop that from happening. 3 survive for Oglu, but ultimately, it's enough damage for ACEND to be happy with.
Yeah, definitely. I think they recovered it nicely enough towards the end, and there was serious potential for Starzo to pick up another. Just poor timing. I guess good timing on Oglu's side to have a late exit, catching that, and Mulsey to check it. I know plenty of players would have just been sprinting there with their knife out. The info that he was last around mid or attacker spawn.
Right here.
Now we come on into this round number 15. Full buy for ACEND. Certainly not the case for good old Oglu. The attackers are armed with pistols for the most part, one of them being a headhunter, though. Little mini Guardian. Packs a punch. Boo with a rifle. Malsey rocking in with a bulldog. There's some potential here as well. And more so, Tom, if they get the site. If they manage to close in the distance to B, then they can certainly be in with a chance of taking it.
Already managing to make a decent amount of ground, but be a little wary. Some of the more aggressive positions. They've been trying to farm up these orbs. They actually delayed the plant in the last round to make sure that they got it, but the issue is, in terms of weaponry, they have a huge disadvantage, and you can already see the wall just being broken by their opposition. They know how important that's going to be to try and get into that after plant, and well, it's no longer there.
Shot that.
With the wall down,
Ooh!
they just wait. They catch a kill. All right. Starzo probably regrets doing that. He had an anchor to play back from. Spray through the smoke is good. Reveal. Not going to catch anyone that's up above. Pistols. Oh, they line up for Zeke. Great damage done here by Oglu. But the round win looking unlikely at this point. And, oh, there you go. It's locked in for ACEND. Still, as we noted, Oglu's buy was very poor coming into that round, and to still get 3 kills out of it, I think is something they can be pretty happy with if they're able to win this one, because they get the reward for it if they win this. If they lose this, well, then it doesn't really matter how much damage they did.
It's all about the conversion. And they're not in a bad spot. Like, they've already got themselves a tour de force available for Feku. You're looking at the orb management of either side. I assume there's going to be a challenge here because Zeke is very close to his null command. And on the other side of things, there's potential for a couple of ults to maybe be coming online. Even the Nightfall, a possibility, which within this A site sounds fairly devastating, being able to section off a lot of the closer angles that are there. So both teams very much committed to trying to battle or orb control.
Even be baited out there. You see Starzo waiting for the peak, wanting these attackers to just swing out and confirm that he's there so you can take a head off. Flash primed. Didn't find them, but this time coming from a little closer. That knife has caught someone. They know now that Sage is up close, that someone's holding A. They're seeing some contact on B as well. This is clear to ACEND that it's a default at this point. But after grabbing that info and with 45 seconds left, this team is inevitably going to group up and try to push a site. And Tom, they've cleared outside of A at least a decent amount of it at this point. That's why you see Zeke is now making his way to the B side.
It's whether they actually can do much about it. Now, he does
left.
have his fragment available. He can get in a position to actually deny the plant. That could be huge because there's only 20 seconds left on the clock. And well, it seemed like they were fairly reliant on Fiku to actually get something done. Now, the wall is going to be utilized a little bit deeper, but straight on, it's not actually going to do that much damage. It's caught on the other side of the wall, so that's at least something. They get into the after plant, but then lose every single battle since, and now Hype needs to pull off a miracle, and well, he'll only get one. ACEND, solid read, solid positioning, and more importantly, well, I was going to say solid retake, but it was barely a retake because they'd already won by the time the plant went down.
Yeah, indeed. That spike plant went down and there was practically no one left to cover it. Yeah, with 10 on the board here, as we said, the efforts of the attackers before, they essentially just disappear. The impact is negligible. They come in now with practically nothing. I see a weapon on Feku. That will annoy me. So he's even got the 8 bullets for free. So
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Making someone else buy a sheriff. All right, Feku. I'll tell you what. I'm not going to say anything negative about it. I want to see why you've invested this money in yourself.
I assume it's because they want his quick exit. I think that's the reason. It's so that he can take that early fight and escape. But yeah, I still agree. Like when you already have basically a Guardian in your back pocket.
Teleport's ready.
Nowhere near the tour de force, so it's nothing to do with orbs. Though they are actually going to get a lot of ground for free. Now, Zeke definitely has some information. You're also going to see the rotation through from Vac as well. He only has shock darts remaining, at least for the moment. And with the deep push they've already had through mid, they know it's A. There's not really anywhere else it can actually be on the map. And they're set up for a B retake if they were to need it. Already, Nightfall is cast, but it's completely dodged by the dismiss. And while you can have all the information in the world right now, it's going to make absolutely no difference. A flawless round coming through from ACEND.
Yeah, very nicely done. I mean, even when you look at... So, Feku takes the rifle, but he's entering, right? Every single corner, he was the first man around. He was looking for the contact. He tucks up close left. Nothing he can do about an off-wide swinging right as they're ulting. This is really unfortunate stuff. CNED was there. Back cut mostly coming around the corner. Feku tries to trade. Deleted immediately. I mean, this is not an issue that I'll sit back and go, well, you know, maybe you should have given that vandal to someone else. No, in this situation, that's ACEND reacted perfectly. They gave practically no space. Absolutely love watching this team play. I really do teach a masterclass. We've just seen the shock dart to try and delete that trap. And that's actually to delete it on the right side of the map, right? Hype's right as he goes through, but they placed on the left. ACEND are just mixing around these trap locations, and it makes it impossible to consistently destroy it.
They also have back here as well. So it's like there's so much that they have to get past just to be anywhere near this utility. Hype is actually just about going to win that duel, though. After losing one on the other side of the map, it could be an issue. I don't actually think they would have cleared Starzo there, but it doesn't matter. He wanted to make sure he gets out of dodge just in case he's spotted. Now, deep control is there with the Viper's Pit, although at least right now, Monster's actually not playing within it. So I imagine they're either going to let that fade or he's going to have to run back into it very quick.
Well, it's just disappeared, so that's an answer to that question. Destrian rezzed right back up. And so the man advantage does sit currently in the attacker's favor, but with 35 seconds, they've got to still make this push work. Now they're going to the A site. Only one player here, that is Zeke.
30 seconds left.
Might have some support from Monster momentarily.
I think his 0 point didn't get anyone. So it's actually given them a full sense of security. He's now going to be under serious amounts of pressure, but it seems he might just thrive within it. Still managing to hide around the corner. Now he's been marked, so they should have a decent idea of where he is. He's managed to bypass, I was about to say. Feku finally puts him down. Monster going over the top, trying to take a pick, and he does. He gets a second as well. Now it just relies on the player within the pit. And also Molsey sitting a little bit further back. He needs to try and find something here, and Monster is just ripping them apart. Only one man remaining. Hype within the pit will be able to drop one. And it's left onto Starzo to try and finish the work his Viper started, baiting him in. The wall actually gonna give him an angle, and Hype will be there to clutch this one out. It's close, but it will go to Oglu.
You can see the nerves starting to kick in, but they've gotten it across the line. A big round as well. With all that was invested, I think they put their own Hunter's Fury in. They rezzed up. They used their Viper's Pit. I mean, this was all in from the attacker's side. They knew they needed to win it. But Tom, question I'm always going to ask after you win a round like that, where you put everything into it, is what are you going to do when you don't have everything to work with? Because now there's plenty more rounds that need to be cleaned up. They're not going to have any ultimates to try and recover.
There's
no safety nets.
And you've got Monster pushing as well. This is grotesque. They're looking to just slam them into the ground. Monster feeling so confident. He's pushing up on a Viper. And the worst thing is as well, Starzo is then sat behind. They're going to have information of where he is, but I feel like at that point it's almost irrelevant.
There.
Yeah. Mark was in. The writing was on the floor. Could trace him along, see where he went to. Now he's really and truly out of there. In on the B side. This op in play. CNED containing them with that op on A site. There is nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere. Look what they're walking into. Double flashes on Zeke. Op holding them on the cross. Player ready to trade up close. Good night. And sweet dreams. That is a beautiful setup from ACEND. They had that on lockdown.
You really do just... I feel like just having a break from seeing the VCT, you just forget how clean some of the shots people actually hit are. Like, Monster in the last round just connecting absolutely everything, and then you just got Zeke just making this look so damn easy. And that's the thing. They do have a superstar in basically every single role. Monster, his debut, 19 and 12 on Viper, right up there with Zeke, currently out fragging CNED, which, you know, that's not easy to do. This team looks terrifying.
An off shot rings out. CNED still aggressing. Still firing off. They had Starzo
Oh,
in the
he's seen
back lines
everything.
as well. The artillery coming through. Vac starting to push up. The pressure being applied. And Oglu falling to pieces. The Hunter's Fury will seek out Destrian. So will the final two players alongside Vac. The flank contained. Zeke's got him. No way he can go backwards. And so the other two, well, they set up this deadly little firing squad. Look at what he's about to peek into. It's a human shield in the form of Monster. And the flank eventually closes it out. That is 13-7.